Hello everybody, today I'm going to be doing my final part of my Breath of the Wild series. Last time we were on here, I unlocked the Great Fairy Fountain and got the Master Sword. Off camera I got some arrows, I upgraded some of my armor, I also cooked a few meals. That's mainly what I'm going to suggest to you before doing the final fight. Anyways, first you're going to want to head to the Woodland Stable as it's the best way to get over there. Okay, now that you're here, we're going to simply go get our horse. I think last time we left the horse in the Lost Woods, so we'll have the stable people go get it. Now we're going to be heading to that final castle area. You are going to want to be extra careful, but we are going to do some things inside of it before we go ahead and directly defeat Ganon. Realizing it now, we only have this horse. Okay, now we're just going to ride on over there. Okay, we have some enemies to defeat. Why not fight them? And defeated. Which one of these NPCs will reward us a meal? In this case, it was a potion item that, to be honest, isn't really needed at this point. Basically, we're just heading down this way. I don't know if the game would suggest it. I know that a game suggests two routes, which I'm going for the easier one that gets you more loot. But we're going to be heading to that pillar all the way over there. Okay, we're almost there now. Okay, well now we're going to enter the castle. For now we can just leave our horse here. If you whistle for your horse inside the castle, the game will either say that your horse can't hear you or can't come, so either way you'll be good. Okay, once we land, there's going to be a guardian. He should just spawn up. Yep, there he is. There's the guardian. But we'll be safe since he can't get us down here. Now we have a cutscene of Ganon. Okay, now that cutscene's over, right now if you want to, you could save the game just in case you end up dying and you need to respawn. But we're going to be heading to that little cave entrance right there. Don't worry about that guardian right there, as long as you're going sideways, he can't shoot you. There we go. Missed. You'll be pretty much safe once you get inside. That was a close one. Now we're going to be at the prison / lockup. So I'm just equipping my remote bombs. Now we just got to climb up this. First we're going to go get the Hylian shield. If you defeat this enemy right here, it'll open up that Lizalfos and it just becomes a whole big thing of all the enemies. Probably can get a free ore right here. Note when you enter the room with that enemy right there, you can't escape until you've defeated it or teleported away, so just keep that in mind. Oh yeah, when you have guardians nearby the player, the sword will glow and it'll do 60 damage. I was also mentioning that if you have the DLC, you can upgrade the sword to do better damage. Now we're shooting it in the eye and defeating him. As you can see, this is doing a whole lot of damage versus what it normally do. Which his eye fell out, which we can now just defeat. And he's been defeated, which will actually drop some better weapons. And that chest will have the Hylian shield inside of it. Okay. I'm just going to drop some of these Guardian swords for some of these better weapons, as there isn't really going to be any Guardian enemies. Note, if you didn't defeat, let's say you didn't defeat one of the main dungeons, you'll have to fight that boss before you can defeat Ganon. Like, it'll just appear in the area where you fight Ganon. You'll have to defeat that boss fight before you can defeat him. Okay, I'm just gonna drop, I guess, the one I have equipped. Oh yes, I forgot to mention this earlier, but try to make sure you have as many upgraded inventory slots as you can, because the more stuff you can carry, the better. I know there's been situations in the past where I'm trying to defeat Ganon, but then suddenly I don't have any more weapons because they broke. Okay, now what we're gonna have to do here is defeat this enemy quickly and enter into this room. Make sure you have your bombs ready, because you're gonna have to blow up that wall. And then close the gate, locking yourself in. And as you can see, we can go through here now. Which there should be able to be some ancient arrows over here. This next part's going to be good to have Revali scale. Okay, that's a really powerful moblin enemy, so we can just defeat him. The spear he has does a lot of damage, but unfortunately has terrible durability. Pretty sure it only has like 15 uses on enemies, and it's very low, so I wouldn't bother picking it up. As you can see, that Revali scale pretty much just let us go pretty much high to the top of it, but not really, as we still have to climb it a bit. I almost fell off there. Oh wait. Are the ancient arrows this way? I thought I remember there being ancient arrows in this room or nearby. This castle is like one of the only places you can get it without purchasing them. We defeated that enemy. I hear the ancient arrows. They're going to be in this room for sure. They'll be in this chest. If you want to, you can pick up that sword and shield, but I know there are better weapons in the castle. You're going to use the Master Sword Beam to defeat this one. Looking at the map correctly, and I don't really see anything else, because I know some of the entrances are blocked. Okay, up there has a Guardian that's not that nice as a player, so I wouldn't recommend going up that way. So now we're going to head back the way we came, because we were just going for those ancient arrows. Actually, I'm pretty sure the player might be able to go out through this way and be fine. Yeah, the entire prison's pretty much just built under these rocks. So now we can fly on down. Oh, the game is not spawning in the Guardian. Well, that's the little entrance of that cave we went through. Now we're heading out to the, forget which side the game refers to this place as. Now it's kind of like the main entrance with the shrine. Okay, here you're going to want to crouch down and defeat this enemy, which he's been defeated. Oh. If you want to, you could grab this flame blade, which I actually am. I'll get rid of this Guardian sword. Another good spot to use Revali skill, because the enemies here have shock arrows and can disarm the player from all their weapons. Except for the Master Sword. Now there's going to be a shrine up here, which you're pretty much just going to want an arrow or that flame sword that we found from earlier. And shoot the main fireplace right there. And we're going to get our free shrine. Okay, Now that we've activated the shrine, now we want to head up these stairs to get to the library. You're going to want to make sure you have at least one Revali scale for this part. There are going to be some pretty hard enemies inside of it, which really can't be skipped, so we just need to fight them. Okay, now we're just looking out for the area to get out from, which I'm pretty sure it might be that way. This room always confuses me due to most of it looking the same. No, it was the opposite side. But you're going to want to head up this way so you can get up here. Pretty sure the player has to go on the opposite side, but that's not going to be a problem. Now that we're up here, we can continue on. The enemies in here also have shock arrows, so be careful of them. Okay, now here's going to be an ice sword, which if the player wants it, they can of course grab it. I'll just drop this bucko club. Here we go. Now the enemy there's an enemy right over here, which is gonna have bomb arrows, so they can literally pretty much insta-kill the player. So you're just gonna have to defeat him really quickly. Which you drop the steel Lizzlebow, which is actually really better than the one that I have. Actually, that one does 1 extra damage from the other one, so I'm just gonna keep this. At this point in the game, now we're gonna be heading through there, but I'll tell you what I was gonna say in a minute. We have another enemy in this corner. At this point in the game, a lot of the weapons in here should have upgraded, so you'll find some better weapons that he's holding. As if you come here, like right at the start of the game, you're not gonna find anything good in this room. There's a secret level up system in the game, which makes certain weapons better. Try and get rid of that one. And get that big sword. If you want to, you can get that Royal Guards shield to display it in the player's house, but I'm not going to do that right now. This bow does 50 damage, but you know, it can still be a pretty good bow, and since I have 2 of this one, I'm just going to get rid of it. I think it has low durability like the other one, but 50 damage bow is still pretty good. So I not have it. Well, you all saw what I just did. I just climbed up here. Now we're going to continue on. If you blow this wall up, there's going to be a hanging pot in that corner. If you destroy it, you'll get a quirk seed. But I'm already at the end of the series, so there's pretty much no need for it at the moment. Don't break this wall open because it's dangerous, but over here you can get it. This is the DLC, the chest, but you know, you have to have the DLC in order to unlock it. Here is what's referred to as the Dark Master Sword, as it's a replica of the original, the one that the player has. I think it does like 48 damage, but of course has low durability, so I don't recommend using it. Okay, now there's going to be another room with some pretty rare weapons. So we're just going to literally grab all these enemies' food. We can also get the meat in that corner. Okay, at this point, we should be able to just head out and then go defeat Ganon from here. If you didn't cook any meals earlier, there's a cooking pot in that corner. You can barely see it right there. Oh, they just hit me. Now the player can equip their Zora armor they had gotten from Zora's domain, and they're going to climb up that waterfall. You're going to want to stay on this edge line right here because it's a lot safer. I'm going to equip my better armor. Now we're just running along this ledge until we get to Ganon, pretty much. There are going to be a lot of enemies, so be careful. Yeah, if that Guardian notices you, all you have to do is literally shoot it in the eye to kind of stun the enemy, and then he'll stop noticing you. But he only stays stunned for a limited amount of time, and then he'll look for you again. So be careful. Which one of those flying... Or actually, not the Flying Guardian. That's the Flying Guardian down there. These ones are going to be menacing and kind of go upwards. Which now Flying Guardian's noticing me. Here's a really hard part of the game where you have to get up here. Or you can climb up the side wall. If you die, don't worry, as you can always come back and do this again. But as the player gets closer to Ganon, the sky starts to change its color and just becomes crazy. As long as you're moving to the side, the Guardians can't hurt you. Okay, now we're going to enter the final fight. So make sure you have everything that you need. Well, here we go. Now Ganon's destroying the throne room with his giant laser beam and stuff. You can actually play inside of the throne room and like mess around, like just do any stuff you want in the room while you're fighting the other boss fights. So you have to have at least one of the dungeons not completed. But if you have them all completed, Link will just fall down into this little cave area. Now all four of the dungeons that you freed are going to fire a laser at Ganon, dealing a lot of damage to him. If you get all four of them, it's going to do pretty much most of his health. As you can see it destroying him. Pretty much to his halfway point. Now we have the cutscene of Link fighting Ganon. Alrighty, now we just have to defeat him. This attack can be parried, but if you have Daruk's protection ability, it should be easy to just block it with that. Pretty much nothing will stop him from firing at the players, so you have to be careful of that. A little tip that I didn't realize until a lot later in the game is, when I go to one of these corners, that there are little items in the corners of the place for the player, such as 5 arrows. There are also the royal set of weapons, like the royal sword and stuff like that, just in case the player never had any weapons for the fight. One time I had done the final fight, I had ran out of weapons, and then I was just defeating him with the shield attack, so I had to parry all of his attacks, which it took a long time, but I was able to defeat him. That attack right there is very powerful, but it can literally just be blocked with the ice arrows, so that's something I recommend bringing. Which you can actually electrocute him. He's almost at his third quarter point. I'm just calling it that because that's what it is, technically. Alright, he's at his halfway point now. As now you have to pretty much block and dodge all his attacks. If you try to attack him, it won't work. As you can see, when we flurry rushed him, that's when we're actually able to damage him. Another one you can do is use the Urbosa's Fury ability, which will automatically make him... will get rid of his force field. Here we go. As y'all can see, he's almost defeated. Now we just deflected his laser back at him. Ooh, that did a lot of damage. So far the fight's going pretty well. If he fails to hit the player one time, he'll try again to hit the player with the laser attack. Like I was saying, if the player doesn't have a horse by the time of this part of the final fight, the game will just give the player a random horse. But now we're given the Bow of Light, which does 100 damage, but is only used during this fight. That laser attack he does is very powerful and can literally insta-kill the player, but it's really slow before he does that, so most of the time he doesn't even hit the player. The final fight is kind of slow, so you just gotta kind of wait for the game to tell you what to do. Now we gotta shoot all those glowing points on him, so there's one. If the player takes too long, they'll actually close and you'll have to have Zelda open it another time. But now we're gonna head to the opposite side of him. If you try to touch him with yourself or the horse, you will both take damage, so be careful. He can also walk over trees as... normally he doesn't destroy it. But now he's trying to get me to fight him. I'm gonna just run under him. Technically, if you were to count it all up, the player, I believe, hits him 8 times with the light arrow, so meaning he only has 800 health, which is actually lower than the level 1 Lynels in the game, and only like 100 health more than his most powerful Bokoblin enemies. So he does not have that many health points. I can see him trying to stomp me pretty much. My goodness, he just stomped on my horse. The next one will open up under him. I'm just waiting for it to happen. There it is. Well, now here comes the pretty much final part of the fight. As you can see, the sky is starting to turn red. Now the final weak point's gonna hit. Let's see. It's starting to open up. Well, we did it. We beat Breath of the Wild. When the player loads back into the game, they go back to their most previous save point, which now we just need to escape the castle. Unfortunately, the player can never actually beat the game and like see the game peaceful without Ganon. But if the player tries to save, there'll be a little star by their save file showing that they beat Ganon. Now all we have to do is exit the castle. Just don't worry about the guardians attacking the player. Because an enemy, guardian kept trying to attack me. Well, we've officially done it. We've beat Breath of the Wild. Pretty much now all the player has to do is pretty much just any bonus stuff they want, like getting the shrines, quirk seeds, and anything else that they want. Well anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, so please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Goodbye.